Hi guys, it's Fana, and thank you so much for watching. Today we have a collab with my amazing friend Jacob of Blankspacedolls. You might know him as one of the amazing doll artists here on YouTube. As you guys know, I am obsessed with living that #gremlin life. And if you are familiar with Jacob, and you should be, he is the absolute king at making stunning ball gowns for his dolls. So we decided that this collab's theme would be dun 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 gowns and gremlins. What does that mean? Well, it's up to us to interpret that how we wish. So I immediately decided to make a doll version of this female gremlin. I'm just kidding, but did I scare you? But actually though, do you know the history of gremlins? It actually came from World War II, where random unexplained plane malfunctions were blamed on little mischievous creatures that were later known as gremlins. I didn't know any of this, and I consider myself a pretty good folklore enthusiast. But because of this information, I wanted to make my gremlin slightly mechanical or steampunk-esque to pay homage to its origins. Now, this is when I start mixing time periods. You guys know the creative process is a little all over the place. I knew that for a gremlin, I wanted to make like a rag dress. Trying to search that term led me to this perfect fashion show by Christian Dior in fall 2010. It combined that raggedy look with 1920s-ish makeup. I'll break down each component as we go, but as you guys have been seeing, this was my inspiration board on Pinterest. But hey, do you like gremlins? What about inner creativity gremlins? Go check out The Gremlins Lair, a podcast by two very unqualified artists, my boyfriend Bobby and myself, where we talk about our experiences in two very different art fields, among other things. You can find episode 0 on this channel, which was posted a few days ago, or on the Gremlins Lair YouTube channel, which all future episodes will be posted on. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled doll shenanigans. When I think gremlin, I think green, but I had this old fabric that I knew was going to be my inspiration for the doll, and I didn't want green on green action. Then I had this Bonita femur doll that I thought would be perfect. She's been in my stock box forever because I absolutely hate this doll's design. She is hideous, but I think she has the most intricate sculpting of any Monster High doll. I prepped her head for the face-up by removing her hair and factory paint. I kept her little antenna things because I thought they would look really cool with the gremlin design. I didn't think her body sculpt screamed gremlin enough, so I decided to steal this tail from a Catherine Deneuve doll, and I drilled a hole into the doll's back. Since there isn't a universal standard for how a gremlin looks besides the movie Gremlins, I felt a lot of freedom with this project. I will say though, she looks more like an imp than a gremlin, but I'm still gonna call her a gremlin, so forget I said that, she's a gremlin. After color matching the tail, I blushed the body with some dark pink pastels and gold glitter to really emphasize the bones and scale patterns. Time to reroot her hair, which I did with a very soft light taupe yarn, as well as a few strands of gold embroidery thread here and there. I decided to add a little tuft of hair at the end of her tail as well as the base of the tail. The last body mod was to sculpt some ears, which is a very fun process. So you guys don't get to see me struggle with that, but here they are. Yes, very gremlin-y. Now let's talk about makeup. I wanted to do a 1920s makeup look, but with a fantasy twist. I reached out to Porcelainette over on Instagram, who is a visual artist and a self-proclaimed living art doll. I asked permission to use some of her looks as inspiration and to use her image in this video, and she was in full support, so here we are. I love how extreme her looks are. You guys know the drill, 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear to prepare the face, and then lots of pastels, watercolor pencils, as well as micro glitter and acrylic paint. I knew I really wanted to incorporate Porcelainette's eyebrows, that like major gold detailing in the inner corner of the eyes and on the cupid's bow, and eyelashes for days. I usually don't like lashes on my dolls, but this is for Jacob, and in honor of him, king of doll lashes, I decided that if any of my dolls needed lashes, it was going to be Jacob's. So I mixed some large dramatic ones with some thinner ones, and I even added them on the lower lash line, which I have never done. I love this face up. It's extremely different than anything I would have ever done, but I think it works perfectly for that whole painted up. Some might even considered it gaudy gorgeous. Gaudy gorgeous, that's what I'll pen. That I wanted for this gremlin. Now for the gown portion of this Gowns and Gremlins collab. These are the fabrics I will be using. I found this slip dress that matched my color palette perfectly, so I just shortened it. Then I just started cutting rough strips of my fabrics. What I love about this gown was that it didn't need to be precise, and I didn't need to secure the raw edges. Actually, raw is a really good way to describe this dress. Figuring out how to achieve what I was going for took a hot second, but to break it down, I just simply twisted together a few strips of different fabrics, folding them in half and securing the top portion to the sheath dress, letting the bottom hang loose and free. And turned out exactly how I was envisioning. I wanted to add a belt, but wasn't really feeling anything, so I took one of these little gears and sewed it to the dress at the hip. You see a lot of long layered pearl strands on 20s girls a la flappers, so I decided to string some fake pearls of various sizes to make a layered necklace. Is it a gown? No, maybe not. It's a dress. But for this gremlin, it is her finest attire, so it's a gown in her eyes. Next was to decorate her tail some more. I had these little keys, which I glued a gear to one of them and used some gold glitter glue. Once that was dried, I strung the key at the end of her tail with some fabric scraps and gold elastic. I added some more pearls and a little gear as well. I really wanted her to look like a scavenger of sorts, like she's tying her little found treasures to her tail. I think it added to the eclecticness of her gown and pearls. I was torn between two Rebecca Steam shoes, but ultimately decided on these ones. They just fit the whole aesthetic better. I painted them to match her outfit with some acrylic paint, and then ruined my paint job by dry brushing the entire shoes with a dark brown paint to rough them up a bit. Which, yes, it was the look I was going for, but I can't help but feel a little bit sad inside that I was so meticulous and careful with the paint job just to dirty it. But with a little pearl, they were all done. Now, the hair. Remember that fashion show with the big poofy hair that I showed you earlier? Well, I wanted to recreate that. I made sure to reroute her hair with a center part, so I'd be able to twist up these side pieces nicely around her antenna horn thingies. I secured those into place with little pins that I was able to hide within the poofy hair. Then, I was either going to ruin this hair completely, or make it perfect by attempting to tease the yarn. I can't even tease my own hair properly. To my delight and complete shock, it was so easy to tease her hair into this poofy shape, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I lucked out. Please ignore my doll comb. It gets the job done even if it's ugly and broken and partly destroyed. But once that was done, I glued in some gold beads, pearls, and gears. And with that, my gremlin doll is complete. I want to thank Jacob so much for doing this collab with me. We've been friends for a few years, but I think this is the first time we've done a legit collab with one another. He is an amazing person. I love him to death, and I can't wait for my gremlin to go home with him. Her name is Faye, which as a name means loyalty or belief, which fits ironically with the whole belief system that little creatures are sabotaging war aircraft. The way I spelled it, though, is a nod to the dark lore of the Fae or fairies. Please check out Jacob's side of the collab over on his channel, Blankspacedolls, because I haven't even seen his doll yet. I don't think I've ever had a finished doll that more perfectly embodies exactly the vision that I saw in my head when conceptualizing a doll, and I'm very sad to see her go. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you have a phenomenal day and keep being extraordinary. Bye!